Hello, internet.
Hello, world. We are here. And welcome to our Tuesday night game where we do role playing games. And this is our monster of the week. Welcome to Worldport and the Nightmare Beyond Sight, the Horror Beyond Sight.
That one. The second one.
I mean, it is quite nightmarish. We do role playing games. And yes, DM over here is our keeper. And we are in the middle of an adventure where we are we unfortunately owe the big bad some big favors. And so we got to kill a guy who probably would have helped us had we made some different choices 2 episodes ago. But in fairness, I'm getting the sense that if we made different choices with our first encounter with one of these people, we would have maybe gotten all of them on our side. But then we still would have had to kill them, I think. Who knows?
Some of them were going to get killed.
Butterfly effect in action.
So, I think that's it. We will take our regularly scheduled break in the middle and catch you guys up on what everybody's doing in the meantime. And yeah, I think that's it. DM, would you like to take it away?
So, last we left our heroes. We had just gone to Fred's house, just broken in, and you guys found out some stuff that you weren't expecting, and got out before any law enforcement response or before any of that could go down. So it's really up to you guys what comes next.
I believe you are currently muted, Chloe.
So last week, Rory had been off in his coin, like thinking about things because he was particularly upset that we had let the big bad into Mike's head. So he was mostly not present for the last 24 hours. So the first thing would be to knock on the freaking coin and be like, can you come out and help us now?
After hearing that, I believe through the coin you would get a general sense of and then out comes a Rory. I believe probably just emerging quite next to you quickly. Yeah, if you bloody need me, I'm here. You don't have to like it.
Well, at this point, none of us like it. It's just not.
I was not liking it before it was cool. All right?
Fair.
I stated my position quite clearly. What do you need?
Well, we need to go kill Aiden's henchman guy.
Obviously.
Well, I'm not sure we need to.
Oh?
So while you were...
Or maybe you don't. You weren't the one who voluntarily signed up for all this.
Well, while you were indisposed at his house, the guy had a hologram, which was basically a big FU to Jayson. Said he's never going to find the book and that he's hiding in plain sight, so Jayson can try to come kill him. So my first thought is we fake his death. We can probably get some favors from the police department to report him as being murdered. That would satisfy Jayson, but we still need to get the book to him.
Well, I'm guessing we need to not tell Jayson that we faked his death.
Yeah, obviously.
I think it's for the best.
This is much better than my poison him with magic poison from Janessa, who's still crazy, by the way. We tried to get her to help us with this in an attempt to deal with the situation without you, Rory, because I knew you were so upset. But she's crazy now.
And the Russian mob may be trying to hunt her down and kill her.
Right. That was a Mike decision.
Oh, have we heard from Nat at all?
From whom?
Sorry, that's aside from the point. That's not a big deal right now. We can circle back to her. Anyway, what sort of death faking do we think we might have to do that could possibly pass muster with a powerful Archmagus?
Okay, well, aren't there poisons that like stop your heart so that you would even be pronounced just dead? Like, couldn't we slip him one of those and then just like take him from the corner?
I think that if you were going to manage to actually fool someone like Jayson, his soul would have to be not present in his body. It'd have to be somewhere else.
Could you create a fake body of his?
Are you asking if I'm familiar if someone's essence could be stored in a place that is not traditional or native to them?
I'm saying make a clone of his body without the life in it. And then the police can perform the autopsy. I don't know if Jason's going to come into the police station in the coroner's office and examine the body. I think he'll go by the newspaper news reports.
And whatever we tell him.
I don't know if he's going to buy it. I think that he's probably going to know if we lie. I think that's the sort of crazy he is. I think that we actually kind of need to kill him. If he continues to live afterwards, that's another matter.
What about your necromancer lady?
My necromancer lady. Well, I mean, was that to Dan? Because she is Dan's necromancer lady.
We're kind of in this situation because we made a deal with unsavory characters. I prefer to keep that to a minimum.
All right. I'm just saying, I don't trust our ability to pull a fast one on him through newspaper clippings is all.
Fair enough. Okay, real quick, DM, just to make sure that we have all of our facts straight, and to kind of review for everybody watching. So last time we figured out that his his professor, we're supposed to be murdering Kevin Snelker, right?
No, he's dead.
Kevin
He was
Snelker.
he was the buddy who was murdered.
Snelker.
So Kevin was also doing stuff like this and was murdered by Jayson brutally for helping our guy whose name is
Kevin. Fred Power's the one we're hunting down.
Yes.
Kevin helped him, or it was Kevin Snelker was finding ways that you can hide. Let's see.
Yeah, he was looking at breakaway cults and he was looking at ceremonial magic, and they were both looking at texts. They both have backgrounds in anthropology and archaeology and old texts.
He was figuring out how to track stolen texts, and we think he figured out a way. Since he was so good at tracking them down, he was able to figure out a way to hide stolen texts so Jayson couldn't find the text that Power had stolen.
Yep.
And then we're pretty sure Jayson went and killed Power.
Right.
And the police basically caught him, but couldn't pin anything on him.
So we know that Fred is going to be here. He has basically been touring the country in very public spaces, being in public constantly, lecturing and whatnot on his academic expertise. And he's going to be at our university in 24 hours, right? We have 24 hours to prepare. Is that correct, DM?
Yep.
Okay. He's going to be here giving us a lecture, giving our university, Felton University, a lecture in 24 hours. And that is our window to get him. We can't just kill him. because we need to know where the text is. Because if he thinks that he hid it in such a way that Jayson will never find it, my guess is if we kill him without any information, we're never finding that book.
I think what we should do is pretty much ambush him in his apartment or townhouse. When he gets there, when he shows up, we're there, and we tell him, Jayson sent us to kill you. We don't want to. We need to find this book, get it back to Jayson. We'd like you to make a copy so you can keep it. But we also need to make sure Jayson believes you're dead and get his input too, because he knows more about Jayson than any of us do.
Yeah.
And I would think if he knows we're trying to keep him alive, he'd be willing to help us.
Okay, and the house we're at right now is his actual house, not where he's staying.
We're leaving. We're driving. This is his family house.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has a townhouse on Felton campus. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have the time or effort to make something like what you were talking about, Michael. Like
Simulacrum.
that's big magic. Usually takes a while, or it's risky. Don't get me wrong. Like, we could always do our best, and then maybe you open up a hole to the ninth circle of hell. But I imagine that's not quite worth the trade-off.
What if another wizard like Fred Power helps you?
It's possible. I think that the easier version of things, like the quick and dirty way to do it, shunt him into somewhere until we have a better option for him.
I mean, I'm down to talk to him. He seems like he knows we're not going to pull the wool over his eyes. He's been doing this longer than we have.
He might have already come up with a failsafe, or at least attempting one. And if
We should also be aware he's probably ready for us.
And
you didn't see the hologram. He does not.
he doesn't know we're coming.
Oh, I don't think he's ready for, like, us. He's ready for someone coming to kill him.
That's why we need to make sure we start talking and tell him to listen to everything we have to say before he reacts.
All right, so get in, be ready for him, or he turn into a bloody gorilla and hold on real tight. And then we ask what we need.
I don't think we need to threaten him. I think we just lay out the facts.
And maybe, Mike, maybe he can tell what Jayson put in your head.
Possibly. I'm sure he knows more than we do about it.
Okay, well, let's just go to his house.
Let's pick up Thomas.
Is Thomas is ill. Thomas is deeply ill. Thomas is not going to be.
Let's check in on him at least.
Okay.
We'll text him.
Guys head back.
Yeah,
Is
that's
he
a
still
really good-
recovering?
He's very.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Everything hurts.
That checks out.
Oh, how are you guys doing? How did it go?
Did you get Tom on there?
Yeah, it's Tom. And she'll put him on speaker.
Tom, the television says get soup when you're like this.
Soup sounds good.
All right, you use the one of the Roid Share for Food apps. They show you how to do that
yeah,
one.
Oh yeah,
There's
that one's great. You just pay people money and they bring you all the things.
There's soup in the cabinet next to the microwave. You can just make yourself.
Sounds good. I'll do that. I just need to summon the energy that I need to move from this position to that one, and then I'm gonna be good.
Well, I'm worried about you, pal. You don't sound.
I'm worried
Way
about
deal.
me too.
I'm going to text the church, see if they can send somebody over to look after him, feed him, get him some fluids.
They would text back probably pretty soon, and that would, that'd be something that they'd be willing to try.
Get him some soup. A
You guys
bunch
are
of
nice.
nuns want to just take care of sick people.
You guys are nice.
All right. Well,
He's just trying to bear it stoically, but you would all know at a literal glance that he is in no shape to fight. He would possibly even be a liability if any conflict were to break out. And
hey, Thomas, do me a favor. If any piece of murder, Thomas, feels like he's trying to burst through your brain, go hop in the cage.
I will try. The only thing trying to burst through my brain right now feels like pressure from my sinuses.
Weird that this supernatural virus seems like the common cold.
Just get some rest, Thomas. We'll call in soon, okay?
Sounds
Okay.
good. All right, guys.
And watch Frasier. I find it helps. He's a funny man who gives people irrational advice on the radio. It's bloody brilliant.
We come home
you
and talk
hear the
a weird
blues of Colin.
psychologist.
You hear the blues of Colin with tossed salads and scrambled eggs, and that's you know. And then if you want, you can watch an episode or two of the Crane brothers getting into various madcap hijinks over misunderstandings between themselves and their.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. Bye.
I'm not an improviser.
I'm sorry, he
Frasier
gets-
episode.
No,
That's a little beyond me. I could
Thomas was in on Frasier.
I could probably improvise some other things, but a Frasier episode is a little beyond me off the top of my head.
So just text him. Like, you can keep telling me about it.
Frasier, no, I was getting ready for a dinner party tonight, but I have a stain on my cravat.
So,
A stain on your cravat, you savage!
What are they going
We're
to
gonna-
say?
pull up a street
stain on
level
your cravat or a
view of the
stain on your
townhouse.
Say that again, Mike, as Mike moves the story forward, guys.
Pull up the street level view of the townhouse. Get a look around there. See what it looks like. What we're looking at.
Does it look like he's home?
It's not a real time. This is the last.
Dylan,
Say again?
does it look like he's home?
Well, first to get there, I'm going to pull up a street level view of the area and look around, see what kind of how close the neighbors are, that sort of thing.
I
Take a
mean,
look.
you guys are still pretty late at night. Everybody kind of seems there's not a lot of light in residences.
What time of night is it?
You guys would probably be well after midnight at this point.
Okay. And tomorrow is the day that he does his speech thing?
Yeah, tomorrow evening is when he has his lecture.
Are we expecting him to be there, or expecting him to arrive tomorrow?
We're not sure.
Okay,
you
all right.
don't know.
We'll be ready when we get there, I suppose.
Well, I mean, it's late. If he's at home, he's probably asleep. Why don't we just knock on the door?
We can be
I
little.
think it's best to come at it from a non-intense way. You can always get more aggressive.
All right.
That is true. There's a
Are
bloody.
you feeling okay, Rose?
No, I'm not, but it's gonna be fine.
Rose is like, we can get more aggressive.
There is
Like
an,
we start not aggressive, and then we can always get more aggressive, but we can't.
there's an
go
upper
back.
threshold of aggression one can get to, but at that point, like, the whole universe is blowing up, which is also a thing that might happen from the guy that we're working for. So it's not out of theme.
Let's go up and ring the doorbell. I'll be towards the back. Have the Rose and Edith probably should be the ones to be less threatening.
I can be bloody congenial, like. And he's
Right.
just kind of like obviously anxious, though. Like, he's clearly not feeling congenial.
Edith knocks on the door.
There's no answer.
Edith looks in. Is there a window on the door or beside the door?
There's like, a side entryway window, but it's sort of frosted, refracted glass.
Okay. Hey, Rory, would you be like a bat or an owl or something and fly around and see if he's here?
All right. Let's give it a shot. Just because I'm feeling surly, I'll be like a sparrow instead of either of the two options that were offered, and then I will go and do a quick reconnaissance around the property.
Rory, sparrows can't see in the dark. Now, why don't you just like flop into a wall?
Neither can bats, technically.
You're doing great.
Okay.
Does anything look like human activity?
The place looks pretty sparse. It looks pretty deserted. Roll weird.
I was going to say, did I forget? Hold on. Dice. Yeah.
I was going to say, Rose should probably also roll weird.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11.
There's a layer of surrealness and unreality to it, though.
Okay.
Like this isn't.
Since the last session, I have purchased the new ability to spend a luck point to auto get a success on some information gathering magic. So, I would now like to attempt to do a scry to pierce past this veil of potential illusion or something else that might be obscuring him.
Wait, before you do that, Mike might know what it is.
He's just put up an illusion that he's not there, but he might be there.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I would like to then spend my sessionly luck point to get a question off of it.
Okay. That's totally fine. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. And then is he in there?
There is a non-zero chance that he is, yes.
Okay. Am I getting like in physical relation to me? Do I know generally where he might be?
Down.
Like deep down?
Not deep.
Like basement or like tunnel?
There is probably some kind of sub-basement.
Okay. Got it. All right, I'm going to flap on back down and outside, of course, transform back into human form Rari. All right. Muy best guess. We can't trust our eyes no matter what we do going in there. I think he's glamored the whole place, but I'm pretty sure he's deep under the ground.
Okay. So what if we walk in and you lead us and we go blindfolded?
I don't know if that'll actually help, but maybe.
Well, we know this is a house. I mean, so he's...
Wait, I think that Rose has a...
I have a thought.
Go ahead.
She is going to pull out the stone. I mean, they're called like fairy stones or witches stones, but the one with the hole look through.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Look through it to where?
So the stones that we got when we were off in the
I
weird...
know what stones you're talking about.
We can't
I
see
think
through the
she
window right
would-
now very well.
Yeah, you
She would look somewhere though that she know is obviously glamored, so just so that she could see through it, just to make
like
sure.
through maybe a bigger window.
Right.
The outside of the house, he probably hasn't changed. This house is where he's been for a while. So
Right. She kind of
it's
wants to.
inside.
I
Yeah.
think she would like to find as clear a spacing as she could, just so she could look through it to see if she can see a difference between the glamored and the not.
So, a difference? No, but you can tell from. One moment. Pardon. Still recovering. You can tell from sort of the hue of your perception and the change in general clarity that you probably are looking through one.
Are there any signs in the yard of an alarm system or anything?
No.
Rory, can you
And
check the
this
door?
would be- this type of housing, frankly, be unlikely to have anything sophisticated.
Rory, can you check to see if there's any sort of magical alarm that'll alert people other than Professor Power if we go through that door? I don't really care if he knows we're coming, but I don't want to set off an alarm and have the police show up.
I mean, I figure you're probably better suited to checking than me to checking if there's physical security. But I
I
can
don't think there's a. I'm going to look around, see if there's anything I can find, but
And I will attempt to scry upon the door to determine if it does have something to be aware of. That one's not as good. 7.
There's something, but hard
It's a
to tell or get your head around what.
All right, it's a weird door.
I'm just going to try to use a bump key and get through the door. So we do it quickly.
Roll cool.
Oh, Mike.
9, so that's 12. I lost one of my dice.
You get the door open easily. There's nothing supernatural or done to the locking mechanism but there was something on the door. You just don't know what.
Let's assume he knows we're here now. Professor Power, if you can hear us, you really want to come talk to us.
Nothing.
Start walking around so we can find steps leading down.
All right. I'm gonna give a shrug, and then I'm going to follow along after Michael.
If you're in bat form, Rory, will your echolocation pierce right through any sort of physical illusion?
Airs can be fooled just as easily as eyes can. Just depends on what
But-
people are focused on. But
Would he-
if it's just a physical illusion, sure.
It's worth a shot. He might not have anticipated a bat coming looking for him.
I'm gonna roll my eyes, and I am just. Is Edith following?
Yes, absolutely.
I will perch on Edith's shoulder and let out tiny chirps. See if that provides us with additional information. Most
Rose,
of
are
it
you-
is above your sound register, so I think you'll be okay.
Are you looking through the crystals
Rose
you
is
walk
going to
through?
kind of just keep that up as a precaution, so that we have unglamored sight.
So, as you walk in and walk through the house, what's strange at first is you see that it's like, wow, there's really nothing different. Like there's obviously a heavy glamour hanging down over everything, but I can't see what it's hiding. Like the room looks the same. But as you kind of get in through the entrance hallway into sort of the main living room area, it becomes obvious why. There is a door to a basement that is hidden, and it's hidden well. It's powerful disguise magic.
Did my chirps penetrate it?
Hard to say.
Okay.
If the door's closed, it's kind of easy to pick up because it's not a.
Oh, it's closed, but it's also not like an elaborate or ornate door. It's just a regular basement door.
All right. I'm going to go back to human. All right. That didn't help. Humans have thumbs. I'm going to try and open it.
You
I'm gonna step in
can't.
front if I can.
But you guys wouldn't. I won't make you roll for it. You guys would know that being able to see through it, like Rose probably could, as long as she was able to perceive it.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. So she's trying to see through the door?
I'm trying to open it with the help of seeing the knob.
Got it.
We'll try to open it.
You open it. There is a stairwell leading down, and when the door swings all the way wide, you guys feel sort of like a tension in the air and then a loosening, and now you can all see the opening.
Okay.
From here, could Rose try to sense any supernatural presences coming from the basement?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll weird for me.
I got an 8.
There's big juju down there.
Pass that information along, so we figured.
I'm going to go in front in case there's something bad that happens. I'd like to have Rose and Edith pretty close behind me to talk quickly if something.
Guys,
Dory, if you pick it
can
up.
we just tell him what? Hey, Mr. Fred, we're here. Professor Fred. Sorry. Yes, that probably is important. We're here and we have information from Jayson, and we really need to talk to you because we're on the same side. But we're kind of in trouble, and you might be able to help us.
And help yourself.
Is
Let's
he
start
with you?
going down.
No.
Definitely not.
Come on down. You won't get hurt.
That's what they all say.
Thank you.
I'll follow behind Michael in front of anyone else.
Let's pull the door shut in case anybody comes in here.
Edith
Assuming that's
will
going to reset the.
And it does. As you do, you all feel sort of the tension returning.
This guy's got a lot of magic. Like, I'm pretty sure he's better than me.
Yeah, I would hope so. He's one
Wow,
of,
Hey,
that's kind of harsh.
I mean, he's one of Jason's henchmen. He's literally one of the 5 horsemen of the apocalypse.
all right, fine. Yeah, let's just get this over with.
So, wandering downstairs, and we see
If you're expecting like a lab or something highly sophisticated or anything impressive, that's not what you find. You find a bare bones, unfinished basement/storage space with a chemistry set on like a card table and a bunch of folding chairs and stuff. And he's sitting in one, just playing on his phone, and he looks horrible.
Walter White's second to last episode.
Hasn't, huh?
Walter White, second to last episode.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He is scruffy and unkempt and has huge bags under his eyes.
Do you have service down here?
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a couple bars. I mean, it's not great.
Hi, Mr. Powers.
He's a professor.
Professor. You know who we are?
Yeah, I know who you are. I recognize you.
Do you know why we're here?
To kill me, right?
Us,
Well,
what
we
he
got-
asked
Yes,
for.
but listen to our full story before you take any actions. I think
I'm not going to take any actions. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm sick of running. I just hope I can do some good before the walls close in. If you are the walls, so be it. Take your shot.
we might be a door.
I'm sorry.
Jayson sent us here to kill you and retrieve his book. From what we were at your family house earlier and saw your message to Jayson, it seems like
You saw the message.
yes.
I'm amazed he hasn't looked for me.
Well, Jason's pretty arrogant. I don't think he. First of all, I think he thinks it's beneath him to track down his henchmen and kill them if they've betrayed him. And second of all, I think he enjoys having people work for him against their own will.
Didn't stop him with the lady in the woods, though.
I don't think he really believes that I'm going to have the balls to try to stop it. He's probably just covering his bases. No offense, you lot. I don't mean to refer to you like junior varsity, but he could nuke this house from orbit if he wanted to. It would be nothing for him to call a meteor from the asteroid belt down on my head.
We're where?
He's just been fucking around with us ever since we met the bastard anyway.
Yeah.
That's him. Sounds like him.
How did you get mixed up with him?
He had an idea that I found compelling and portrayed himself as a misunderstood scholar, right? We bonded over that. We talked about what it was like to try to pursue knowledge that we knew was safer than the popular opinion on it might have held, knowledge that we knew could benefit our fellow man if only people would give it a chance. He sold me. He sold me and my friends, and we helped him,
You and Kevin?
among others. I'm not surprised to hear that you've heard of Kevin. Kevin was the brave one when it became so readily apparent that we had made a mistake, that he was not who he had represented himself to be, and that what he wanted was not what he had represented himself as wanting. And Kevin was the one who wanted to do something about it. We were all knowledgeable, powerful, lifetime mages. Jayson is 35. We thought that if we brought all of our power to bear against him, his genius wouldn't be able to make up for it. We were very wrong, and Kevin is very dead.
If you don't mind me asking, this is a bit aside the point, but do you know why he's so bloody strong? I mean, obviously, people have different levels of aptitude, and he's a bloody genius and all that. But is that really it? Do you know?
Do I know why? I have a theory I'm confident in. You look around, all of you. What do you see? You see concrete, you see insulation, you see a washer and dryer and a mini fridge, right? That's your reality. Now, take a breath. What are you breathing? You're breathing air, right? Oxygen filtering through your lungs to get into your bloodstream. If I wanted fire and I didn't want to use magic to get it, what would I have to do?
Right. Right a lighter.
Employ physical force.
Yes.
Take action.
Employ physical force, right? Cause and effect. The most efficient way to create fire is through friction, right? Great deal of energy onto something that is flammable, make fire, right? Magic is at its very nature paracausal. You employ your will, you employ forbidden knowledge that, well, we all know it's not earthly, and you create an effect out of nowhere. Now, the base surface level of magic, it's scholastic, and I can tell that's the level that several of you are at. You learn spells, you learn languages and tongues that don't originate from this realm. You learn to call on forces larger than you, and you learn through an act of will and knowledge to employ a paracausal effect on your reality to change it. To make fire with the snap of your fingers. Or my favorite trick, to suck all the oxygen out of a room so nobody can breathe, even though they believe that they should be able to. It's a great way to disable as large a crowd as you need to make an escape. But think about what that does to a human mind, to be able to bring into effect that which should not be. Think about the impact of constant daily assaults on your knowledge and comfort and the truth of your perception being reality. All mages are a little mad. All mages believe in things they shouldn't believe in. All mages believe in things that shouldn't be real, and yet they are. Jayson is immune to that insanity. He has a photographic memory. Every spell he's ever read, he remembers. Every forbidden language or eldritch tongue he's ever learned, he has perfect, fluent command of. And he doesn't see this reality the way you and I do. He doesn't see it as stable. He doesn't see it as something he can perceive, something he has to interact with. He doesn't even see it as something he can manipulate. He sees it as something he can dominate. That realization deep down, combined with borderline infinite knowledge and hyper intellect, our reality becomes his plaything.
Lego bricks.
He is the perfect wizard psychopath.
And a bully.
If you were basically a mortal god, wouldn't you be?
Aye.
Did you just say yes, Rory?
I was reminiscing.
And now, think about just that limitation. It drives him nuts. I used to think, back when the only thing I knew about him was his research, all published on the dark web or passed around in single printing small books. He's a self-published author, if you can believe it. That he was simply super curious, and like all great scientists or scholars or researchers, had this way of looking at problems in different facets, seeing things in different ways, wanting the answers to different questions that the rest of us hadn't even thought to ask. I saw him as an Albert Einstein, a Foucault, an Isaac Newton. When what he really is a child throwing a tantrum that where he lives and what he is and the plane on which he exists, the wavelength on which his intent resonates, dares place any limit upon him at all.
Okay.
When I learned that about him, everything else clicked into place, and his end game made sense.
His end game of bring a god over to here?
Oh, that wasn't the end game, young lady. That was the first step. One of the most titanic magical accomplishments in a century. And that was his opening move. It was a pawn moving 2 steps forward.
What was his end game?
To send him back.
And thus break the wall.
No.
No?
Think about what a god is. Higher, greater, grander, stranger, more powerful. We use that word to give context to something we can't even fathom. Their intellect is alien, their power indescribable. We mythologize such creatures. Frankly, I think the only reason dragons, such as your friend here, fell from those particular ranks of mythology is because a human killed one. Had that never happened, there'd probably still be some culture on an island somewhere worshiping you.
So you're saying we've killed gods before?
Gods have died, gods have been born, gods have been created, but they exist. They're out there. And not to disrespect a true believer like Mr. Connor over there, for all we know, there's levels above. And if your understanding of the cosmos, Mr. Connor, is in fact the correct understanding of the cosmos, I don't know. I'm necessarily agnostic. We don't even know how many tiers, so to speak, there are in between, well, the God you worship and everything else. It could be infinite for all we know, or at least infinite to human reckoning. But all Jayson sees is ceilings. Do you understand? Beings greater than him that he cannot surpass, who exist on a higher plane, a higher wavelength, and whose very being consists of more power than he can actualize, despite his gifts, despite his, shall we say, intellectual mutations.
So
he seeks an empty throne.
When did he formulate the plan to kill the gods through this disease he created?
He decided to wear a new hat somewhere around 5 years ago. Archaeologist. He wanted to determine, while he was letting the furor over, some such other controversy he had created blow over, that he wanted to see just what the footprint of the supernatural and the paranormal and the beyond was on our reality. How many times had we been visited by beings, creatures, intelligences, intents that we hadn't documented in our folklore and mythology? So he started looking for them. He started using his own considerable magical prowess to uncover secrets pretty much nobody else could. And he found something that gave him a flash of inspiration, something that he shared with me. He found an ancient being that had come over to our side, had come over to our reality, but all the writings about it from magical scholars, I think it was 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, referenced it as small. They called it the one God. and it could not be perceived with human sight. Magical magnification was the only way to even regard the thing. But when a cult formed around it, and it was eventually fed enough power to be unleashed, that culture's entire pantheon, and indeed that culture, were wiped out in a night.
So it's like a deified germ?
An amoeba as a godlike entity, Cthulhu as a virus. Do you get what I'm putting down?
So it had been done in the past before by accident. He intended to do it.
No, he didn't just intend it. He did it. We brought it over. We restored it. We founded incubators. We grew that thing from a legend from a distant past into something very, very real.
So regular Tom is a carrier now. That he's sick.
He's sick?
He's sick. He came into contact with another. I think the thing that got out that was also him, there was like a homunculus that got off of that crazy island.
Subject 1.
And now he's sick.
Our subject 0. That is Tom, right? That's what they've called him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And our subject 0, that's the leverage that our mutual friend currently has on us. That's put us on the road to you.
Oh, he's in trouble.
No, wait a minute. So, an ancient culture accidentally brought over basically an amoeba god, fed it, and it killed off their pantheon of gods and the whole cult. Then went back over to the other side.
As far as we know, we sure didn't find it here on Earth.
Then
What it's been doing in the intervening time, I couldn't begin to tell you.
Jayson brought it back over.
And there is a way for us to put it back.
Jayson wants to put it back. That's the entire plan. Do you guys see part 2?
To put it back to infect all the other and kill all the other gods.
All of them. He wants it so strong, so powerful, that when it leaves this reality and returns to the void in between, the literal multiverse, the literal extraplanar existence we have inferred exists around our reality, that it will shoot through all other planes of existence like a bullet through a condom. It will penetrate as deep as it needs to penetrate, and it will infect everything it comes into contact with. It will depopulate the cosmos of everything greater than the cockroaches. Us. And then the most powerful being alive will be the most powerful man alive. And then he will step out of this reality to whatever he finds beyond and be and have what he always wanted.
What happens to the disease god when it kills off all the other gods? What keeps it from...
See, Jayson's theory is when it runs out of food, it goes dormant, it devolves over time when it's dormant. He believes that because it can't feed on us, we're not powerful enough. We're too unsophisticated a life form. It'll have nothing else, and the problem will be taken care of. That is not my theory.
Why won't it eat him?
Well, it won't be able to until it devolves some, but then
He won't ascend far enough, fast enough for the virus to be his problem. Under his theory. I have another one.
Well, don't keep us hanging.
We're men, Dragon. We don't chart its progress. We don't control its mutations. We don't control its evolution. We have placed it in a shard of a god that we put in a boy. That was not a scientific process. There was no equation on a chalkboard like he led me to believe that puts us in control of the outcome. It's a thing he did, and because it kept working at every step of the way, he assumed his genius was merely actualizing his plan.
Yeah, you don't exactly got a control group for that one, do you?
A god virus. The thought that it is so limited that with infinite food and with a host as powerful as a piece of whatever it is we brought over, and my goodness, what a Leviathan, what a Titan we hooked. The thought that it would be limited, that it would even be the same as what we understood it to be, is, in my opinion, the height of arrogance. The thought that the cosmos itself could survive the unraveling, the death, and the unmaking of power itself, I think it's just as likely to have the same sort of effect as the sun going out. We don't understand these relationships. We don't understand how deep this rabbit hole goes. We can't even comprehend the nature of beings and intelligences that much greater than us. When the depth of Jayson's ambition became plain, I understood what it meant. The highly probable apocalypse. He
So how does-
refuses to believe that he could make such a mistake.
Clearly.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Now,
You've resold me on the idea that he needs his arse kicked. We're in a pickle still. He has leverage on us. He's gonna understand things that we're doing. He's got ways to keep tabs, and he's got the only thing keeping our friend alive. We're supposed to be here, kill you, get the bloody notes we're missing.
of course, he needs what's particularly vile about that is he doesn't need me dead. He just wants me dead. What he does need is the way.
The way being the book that you found and hid?
The Way is the title of the book.
Oh,
Yep.
that-
The way is the key that he did not expect, but I imagine he has come to realize that without it, there's nothing else, except arguably the end of our reality. But his plan, as it stands, cannot move forward without what's in that text.
And you've
Are
hidden
we
it
in
away where he
our-
can't find it?
Wait.
You've hidden it away where he can't find it?
I've tried.
All right. I got one more question, and I hate to even backtrack us. But from what you said there, we're on a timeline for how long everything down here's good, right? Like, if this goes on unchecked, we've got a bloody problem.
You know how I know?
Our handle on
Dragon?
our reality is an issue, and he's not able to get it out of here without the thing.
Do you know how
Is
I know,
giving it
Dragon?
to him our only bloody option?
You all remember the island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
How bad had the corpses got by the time you woke up and got free?
Bloody bone
Very,
knife.
very bad.
Very bad. How many?
Well, one of them looked like it might have been about 30.
Yeah, or dozens.
Probably 100 overall, at least.
For months. We couldn't make the virus do anything. We had it in the boy, in clones of the boy, that were really just clay homunculi we'd made with standard golem magic. We couldn't make it do anything. We'd woken it up, but no matter how much we poked it with a stick, we couldn't make it infect subject 0. It just sat in subject 1. And then the dead started rising. And then the dead started to imbibe that which strengthened it. And then the dead became walking horrible weaponry. And then we left the island. The virus is already mutating. It's already growing. You say it infected your friend? The only way it could have done that is if it attacked him. It means it's sentient. It means it knows it wanted him. It knows it wanted to reunite pieces of its shattered power. It's already growing. Do I honestly believe it will take long at all before it finds a way to impact living, healthy humans? No, I think that's imminent.
Right, so what can we do that is neither letting our reality explode nor giving Jayson what he bloody wants?
I have a thought.
What's your
You
thought?
said that you guys made copies of regular Tom using golem magic.
Yes, we did. That was me.
Can we make a copy of you and then brutally murder it on campus?
Jayson won't fall for it.
Why not?
Well, he's not around. And if we do it properly,
He's-
the officials will put the right paperwork together.
I appreciate your desire to keep me alive, but I think this has to end in my death.
My thought was maybe we'd have to kill you, and then we could still keep you around.
You have to kill me for other reasons.
Okay.
What?
Oh, wait, no, wait, we're not buzzing by that. What do you mean?
Do I look healthy to you, Dragon?
Oh, shit. Same as Tom?
I tried to undo all of this. I stole the book. I went hunting for the carrier. I went hunting for Subject 1. I failed. I failed spectacularly. He's strong now and adaptable and able to mute his own form to suit the task at hand, and he overcame me. I survived, but I've been deteriorating ever since. I can't leave this house. I can't be around other people. The only reason I'm willing to risk your presence in this room is it's already killed you. You're clean. I can feel it.
Wait, it already killed. So, okay, but
Jayson informed me that he tied up loose ends by unleashing his creation on you when he fled the island. And yet
Right.
here you stand.
Why?
So we're
You're either immune or it's done with you.
Well,
It's
the
been
immune is
months.
hopeful. The immune is hopeful. If we can figure out why we're immune, we can figure out maybe some way to.
Human immunity being transmissible as a guard to a supernatural virus is optimistic.
We also might be immune because we already were killed by it once.
And I don't think that most people that it could kill are going to have the option of weird old dream gods hanging about to help them.
It's the Shattered King brought you back.
Aye, that one.
He was part of the original disease god. Is that right? Or is he
He's
part of what
the
they brought
original
us?
god we brought over to infect. Or
Aye,
tried
he
to.
was part of Tom.
Yes, he is
The main
now.
part.
Poor kid.
So
We thought that we were making him greater. Jayson was just turning him into a puppet, a disease doll. I cannot imagine how that must feel.
Rory's going to look over Rose and be like, well, he had a few things go right for him, at least.
So, do you know any way to cure regular Tom?
It's his power that's infected, not his humanity.
But we
Get
can't
it
just
out of
cut
it?
that. We can't just cut it out, though. I mean,
Mm.
it's indestructible. We've seen him get tossed around like a bloody ragdoll.
Yes. He's certainly greater than a man at this juncture. He's a demigod for all intents and purposes.
I don't even think I could take him. Not at
But
my
he's
full
not.
strength.
Here's what's interesting to me. You're talking about him in the present tense. So he's alive.
I mean, as of like
Of course.
30 minutes ago, yes.
How long ago did he first make contact with the carrier?
About 24, 48 hours, I think.
Not that long ago.
And he's just sick.
Like a cold.
Like I said, that's
Pretty
the
severe
leverage
cold.
Jayson has. He was able to supply a treatment, something to stave it.
There is no treatment.
What, then he's lying?
I suspect he might be.
That wouldn't be surprising.
Rory
It's
is
not
just going to
strong.
punch
It's
this
not
man.
strong enough yet.
Rory is
You
going
have
to
a
punch
chance.
this man's wall.
You have a chance.
Okay. There's one more thing that we need your help with, though. And if we have a chance, I want to know why you think we have a chance and what we should do. The other leverage Jayson has on us is that there's something inside of Michael that's like a failsafe. And we're not
Let me
sure
guess. You can't shoot him when his back is turned?
something like that.
And maybe other things.
You and me both, buddy.
What are the limitations on that?
Well, as I understand the curse, because he put it on all of us, we can't hurt him. We can't even try. If you do, it hurts. If you try to push through it, your brain shoots out your ears.
But Mike would feel something before.
Oh, he feels something, all right.
Is it just trying to physically harm him, or is it working against him?
I have been working against him this entire time, and I find myself alive. So my operating theory is it's limited to physical harm, which would make sense, as I'm not absolutely certain that Jayson believes anyone working against him matters.
So, say I had an S vest on with a dead man switch.
What?
So, I have a suicide vest on, pack full C4, have a dead man switch. So if I let loose the button, it goes off. Even if it kills me, it takes him out with me, right? If I'm near him.
I would suspect that would be a loophole. I would make sure that you would actually accomplish your aims. He's remarkably difficult to kill. You wouldn't believe the panoply of wards he has on him. I don't believe any of y'all have ever had cause to see him naked. If so, I'm not judging. But the constellation of tattoos, it's not for show. He's virtually indestructible. Believe me, I've enlisted people to try. I've enlisted things to try. You cannot fathom how frustratingly incredible a practitioner he is.
Okay.
I've long since given up on beating him. I'm trying to thwart him.
To that end, we are supposed to retrieve the way and bring it back to him.
Well, you're right
Is
about
there-
one thing. You will retrieve the way.
We will?
I'm going to give it to you.
Do
You will not bring it back to him.
What's your suggestion? Just on the run? Is there anywhere we could run that he wouldn't know where we are?
My suggestion to you is that you adopt two things as your objectives from this night forward. One, stay away from that man. You can't fight him. You can't beat him. And the more you involve him in your schemes, the more he will involve you in his. He is an alien mind. He will outthink you, outplan you, and twist you up in whatever his ends are. Stay away. Keep them separate. Behave unpredictably and pursue your own aims. And second, Your friend has exposed what I believe might be our one chance out of this.
And
It
that
can't
is
kill him. It's not strong enough yet. The virus. The virus itself, the central body, let's call it the queen or the king. Let's call it the king after its namesake. Is strong enough to beat him down, you said. But the virus itself, the shedding, the whatever the equivalent of supernatural microbial disease theory is, can't kill your friend yet. So it's not strong enough to. So kill subject 1. Reunite the shards of the Shattered King in your friend where your friend is driving the bus. Have him destroy a weaker creature. Then use the way to lure Jayson and have your friend, the Shattered King, squash him like a bug. That would be my plan.
Okay, so the plan is to try and unshatter the king.
Reunite him in your friend, with your friend driving.
And he'll stay Tom.
Hmm?
Will he stay Tom?
He'll still be-
Oh, almost certainly not.
Yeah.
Did he stay Tom after coming off of the island? I would imagine not, because I know who he was before, and you all speak with him with affection.
I'm gonna just be looking over at Rose, seeing how she's doing.
There's no way an alien consciousness in somebody's body greater than a mortal won't warp his personality. But if I may offer a piece of optimism, when you pulled Subject Zero from the island, he was not a vengeful god. He was not an insane, broken creature. He was something new. And according to you, something, well, it sounds rather human.
So will he stay as he is if we reunite him?
Sounds like no.
The reasonable expectation would be that whatever he is now, the reunion of the Shattered King's power under his domain, under his psyche, would just make him more.
We can work with more.
and we'll help him be him.
Okay. So how do we track down subject 1?
I wouldn't start there. I would track down the Shattered King.
Okay.
You have, perhaps, for the first time in his entire history, however far back it goes, leverage. The Shattered King faces existential crisis. You're the only out that can be offered him that does not involve his destruction. Find him, drive a hard bargain, and see if you can't get him to submit.
Okay. Where do we look? Like, we've only ever found him when we're about to die.
I say
And
we can go drive into a bridge, probably.
We have two. You have two magical practitioners, if I'm reading you correctly. Should not be hard to make contact with a diminished being. He's not what he used to be. We carved off a significant.
Aye, and if there's one thing that you can do to show a bloodhound, you know, the scent that they should be tracking, it's something that they left behind. We got that.
Oh yes, you see. Think of it like magnets. Think of it like ferromagnetic fluid. His power, you don't need a ritual to reunite it. Once you've stripped away the barriers of flesh and soul, it wants to become whole.
But if we reunite them, is there a possibility that in a different host, the virus might actually be more powerful or be more effective?
That would depend on your friend.
Currently, Thomas is fighting it off all right. He's not.
When we get sick, we have a system that deals with it, right? T cells and antibodies and whatnot, and they aren't like limbs. You understand? Like you can't sit here and go, oh, my immune system hurts. My white blood cells are sore, right? But that creature, the one god, the god virus, these greater intelligences have much more powerful forces of will and intent than we do. They're much more aware of themselves. It is that intent, that will, that sense of self that the virus subsumes and devours. The question of, will the virus devour your friend is, can your friend fight him off? Can your friend fight him off when he's whole? It's God versus God. Bring popcorn.
You can do it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Can I make
I think
another?
that's most of what we needed.
You have one more
Um,
thing you need. One more. He
Okay.
just walks over to a table, grabs leather-bound book, and chucks it at you. Behold, the way by the nameless Magus.
Now, won't Jayson be tracking this if we're trying to avoid Jayson?
You can't let him have it. How you keep it away from him is up to you. But you need to know what it is.
What is it?
At roughly page 91 of that tome is a ritual for entrance to a... Well, the plane is described in metaphor in the book, but magical scholars believe that it is the only written record of the junction between worlds, a sort of way station that the gods of antiquity and of yore used to come into our reality. That book will tell you how, or will tell Jayson how, to open a portal by which they can get to anywhere else. That's his end game.
I don't suppose you have any fancy safe houses we could stash this at that Jayson doesn't know about?
How do you know Jason's tracking you?
I just figure that if he's already got a curse placed on Mike, he could probably ping it.
Well, I mean, he couldn't ping you.
I don't think so.
No.
What do you understand about tracer spells, Dragon?
I've cooked up a few of my own, but they're all different. You know, they depend on what you're looking for, what you're trying to hook them up to.
What about you? What about you, young lady? You seem a bit like a new mage, but what do you know about magical connections?
To be totally honest, not a ton. The only magical connection I have, I can just kind of feel.
Describe it to me. Is it just emotional?
Mostly, I mean, I feel like I can generally tell if said thing is alive and well.
Is there any power exchange?
Yeah, a little bit.
Ah, so you've bifurcated the link. Very good. Congratulations.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. What?
Think of a tracking spell as taking a thread from you, attaching it to something else, right?
Okay.
It's two-sided. Sophisticated enough mage who can sense what has happened to him and has enough craft to do something about it can simply make it a two-way street. It's not a risk Jayson typically takes. He employs other methods of monitoring, but he does not trace, he does not track, he does not observe. He's paranoid.
I admittedly have been looked on a few times when I've attempted to scry on folk before.
It's kind of the other side of that sword. You know what I mean?
So it's a booby trap, and he has to actually push the button and know to push the button. He can't just watch us.
He wouldn't
Right,
risk
because if
watching. He wouldn't risk watching you. He would be worried about the two of them watching him back.
I have to ask this question: if this ritual allows Jayson to open the junction of the worlds, why not just destroy these pages or this whole book?
Go ahead.
I try tearing them out.
Wow. It's an
They regrow.
indestructible book. Why?
Because it is, well, this is me getting nerdy. It is popular opinion amongst knowledgeable magic sects that it is not a human wizard that wrote that book.
Then I
if we
suppose
take
it's
What if we take it to the Nameless King? What if we take it to the Shattered King?
He could certainly read it.
is
Once
it
we got
possible-
him back together, once
He could just
once
sit
he's
on
all
it.
united in Tom.
He could just keep it in his fairy forest.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, whatever. He can do whatever he likes with it. He can wipe his ass with it once he's kicked Jason's ass.
Don't suppose it's possible to change a few of the runes in the ritual or what correct itself.
It's completely and utterly resistant to change. And if you had to ask me why I think that is, now I suspect that book is a shard of some forgotten ancient being's intelligence, ripped out, condensed, and polymorphed into something a human being can perceive and interact with.
Huh.
What if we infected it with the disease god gene thing?
That's another infectious
Might be
thing
worth
out
a
there,
shot.
though.
The one risk you'd be taking there is, well, if
It's
the infection found enough power there to be alive.
yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
Okay,
a nice
I'd like-
last ditch then.
What?
That's a nice last ditch then. That's nice. Like the universe is about to end, might as well try it, sort of thing.
What I need to emphasize to the lot of you is a clash is coming. You have pieces of a shattered god circling each other with a hitchhiker on board that could destroy reality. You have a mad super wizard seeking to use that conflict for his own gain and is just waiting to throw the victor of that conflict through a tear in reality and to God knows where beyond. And the only thing that continues to pop up that seems to interrupt or change these swirling events is you lot. You have a responsibility here. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I'm starting to suspect you might be the only pieces on the board capable of upsetting the game.
I am quite upsetting.
I am just generally upset.
All right.
You and
All
me
right.
both, madam. You and me both.
Okay.
This is not
We
how
got
I
our
want it to end
we-
for me, let me tell you.
We got a book. We got the info. Look, if we're going to be going on the run from him anyway, does it really matter if we don't kill you? I mean, we could just leave you here even, or to another safe house or something, and then you can be away from anybody else who you might expose to it, and then we're over there trying to cure the bloody thing anyway. You know,
Or you can just
we'll be
come with
looking on the king.
I don't want to become one of those creatures from the island.
Oh.
You've managed to stave it off so far.
I've looked inside myself. I'm just curious what it's doing to me. You know, I was wondering if it would burn a man up with fever or it's reshaping me from the inside.
How
I
long?
don't wish to put you off of food forever, but the worst cancer you've ever seen, bone, organ, it's worse.
How long?
It's turning me into something else.
How long you got?
Considering I have wanted to hurt the lot of you since I saw you, and that is not my first predilection, I cannot imagine long.
I need to be a hell of a lot less vulnerable soon.
Okay, well, I feel like I have to tell you, the only way we figured to really actually kill the things on the island was by burning them. So, is there a way to like put you out so that doesn't hurt?
Jesus, Edith.
Well, I'm just saying, we can't just light him on fire. That's a terrible way to die.
Can the rest of you confirm? Will fire do it?
Fire will, but I'm with Edith. There should be something to do first.
Do you
Leave.
have a gas stove?
Leave.
Well,
Do you have
remember
a
the
gas stove?
Our conversation is over. I've shared what I know. I have given you what you need.
Let's go.
Leave.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good luck. And for whatever little it may be worth, I am sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I didn't know about you lot. I didn't know what he was doing to their minds.
It's okay.
You're owed an apology from somebody, and I'm going to be the one to give it to you.
Appreciate that. Let's go.
I am grateful you are the people you are. You can do it. I have to believe you can.
Okay.
He's gonna pay for this. He's gonna burn worse than you, Doc. And then I'll just nod and start stepping away.
And he just leans back in his chair and starts staring at his hands. And it would be a
Let's go,
good
girls.
time to get out of there.
Let's go.
Yep. Leaving.
So you leave, you get out, you sort of like abscond to your vehicle kind of as quickly as you can, start driving down the street. And right about as you get to the first stop sign, his house explodes.
Explodes.
As if it had a propane tank in that basement of some size. There is even a little bit of a flaming mushroom that jets into the sky, and lights turn on all across the neighborhood. Of course, people come out. That house is a smoldering wreck. It's a crater and a bonfire.
Well, I mean, that's going to buy us some goodwill from Jayson, right? If he just check the newspaper.
He went
Well.
out his way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, that was a
now
bloody
you
thing.
lot need to decide what's next after our break.
Okay.
All right. We will be right back. I am going to. Hey, I see. Hey, DM. I'm gonna pop. Everyone off. L, are you good to go first?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. I'm gonna leave you and Mike up so you guys can introduce each other's stuff. We'll be back.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Hello, still. Okay, so how's it going?
All
You
right.
have
how
this
is
super cool project, don't you? I don't
Yes.
know anything about it.
it? It's just that you're the one doing all the artwork for it. For this, I'm trying to see if I can share my screen here.
No, you're good.
Let's see if I can do this.
In case
I
you
am-
guys don't know, our friend here runs an amazing gaming company called OTP Games. What are you showing off?
I'm showing the artwork. I think. Hang on.
We're literally so excited. We've been working on this project forever, and it's
Okay.
going to be so cool when it's done.
There. Why isn't it? Why isn't it doing it? What happened? It's
While you look, would you like me to talk about?
yeah. I've tried. Here we go.
I
Share.
got you.
It's not working. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so we work with some super cool people, OTP Games being one of them. We also work with a super cool new sponsor called Escape Velocity Comics. They're a wonderful little comic book shop in the heart of downtown Colorado Springs. Super clean, family friendly, all sorts of cool stuff. If you're ever bored and in the area, come see me. I hang out there all the time. What's really exciting about them is they are our giveaway sponsor for the season. So all of our amazing giveaways are from Escape Velocity Comics. Oh my goodness, my brain just like jumped 6 tracks forward. We've actually got some really cool stuff coming up from them. If you guys kind of hang out, come back to our next session, we'll see what we've got from them. But right now, I think they're mostly getting ready for their big fall sale. So I'll give details when that comes. Let's see, what else do we have? We have our own store called uncannycreations.art. If you are ever looking for all your uncanny needs, we have amazing hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, notebooks, mugs, all sorts of really cool stuff. So that way you can take care of all of your fan things. And then last but not least, I have a shop called Fateful Designs. I make stickers. I do all sorts of fun art, commission art. If you're ever looking for some cool stuff, check it out. We'll post some links up in the chat, so that way if you're looking. Otherwise, you can go to our About Us and click L for my shop, Escape for the Escape Velocity, and then we also have a loot shop, so you can check that out in our bios. I'll throw it back over to Monsieur O'Connor.
Okay. So, like I mentioned, I have a gaming. There we go.
Yay!
So I have a company, OTP Games, and one of the projects I'm working on is a book with magic supplements, and one of them is it's called Buntafa's Deck. It's similar to the Deck of Many Things, but if you want to scare your players with brand new effects, this is the artwork Elle's been working on. Let's see.
They have been so freaking fun to work on. I'm really excited. These are some of our super cool cards.
If you're familiar with the Deck of Many Things, you realize that one's a nasty one. None of these cards are in the deck. These are all new ones with new effects.
I think that's my favorite part, is that it's not just like a deck of many things. It's a deck of many things plus. And there's so many cool new things in there that I feel like people have never even heard of before.
Yeah. And your players, if you have experienced players who know the Deck of Many Things, and you let them pull a card, this very soon this deck will be available as a hard deck or as just the online stuff. You tell them, oh, this is the card you pull. No, that's not one of the cards. Yeah.
I think it's so cool. I can't wait to get my hands on a deck, because I'm going to use them on some of my seasoned players who know like the Deck of Many Things forward and backwards. And I can't wait for someone to pull a card they don't know.
Yeah. And you can, it's possible to use just this deck and not even use the Deck of Many Screens. But we'll also have, she has artwork that she's done for the Deck of Many Things. So if you just want to run the Deck of Many Things, there's brand new artwork, and you can pull out all kinds of cool things. That supplement should be available 2 months from now, maybe. Hoping.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not good at this, scheduling things out yet. I'm still learning this. There's first supplements already available on. You can go to Drive Through RPG and look for OTP or Armory Fantastica. If you go to otpgames.com or otpgames.com, you can find links to everything in there. It's in my bio on the YouTubes or the Twitch. I know it's on Twitch.
If you're joining us on Twitch, you go to the About Us section and click on him, and it'll take you straight to OTP Games.
Yes. And links there and all kinds of stuff. So
I'm so excited. I don't know if Chloe is still here, but if she is,
eventually. Yes.
There she is.
Hello.
Well, you want to tell everybody about some of your stuff while we run to the restroom?
I will. I will actually pull Dan up here real quick, because Dan has a pool podcast, a a cool
We have a podcast about pools, everyone. Come on,
pool
listen up.
podcast.
We call it Chlorine Weekly. It's also weirdly a mage, the Ascension podcast, and we named it very strangely. It's called Ombligo del Diablo. Do not be confused by the first few episodes. Absolutely about pools. You heard it here. It is a dark Western fantasy project about all of the spooky things that might happen in a town that time has forgotten, inhabited by unusual characters, and populated also by a few players who are deeply unstable and make a lot of mistakes.
It's never great when time forgets a town. Like, that's just going to cause havoc for everybody. What is lunch? Like, I know.
I know, like, time. Really, get it together. You're forgetting too many towns.
What even?
But yeah, it's a heck of a good story. I believe some episodes have recently dropped that, we've finally gotten around to editing probably the most dramatic stuff that happened over the whole podcast. So it's a heck of a time to get caught up on Obligo del Diablo. If you get current with it, you will be experiencing some of the plot twists that I have been hyping up since we started releasing it, because stuff got intense. And if you need to find a link to that, I used to spell it. They got angry at me, but you can click on my link in the Twitch, and it should bring you to our podcast anchor. Otherwise, Ombligo del Diablo. You can find it anywhere.
So literally.
You liked that almost as little as you liked referring to us as a milky stream when the other one was spicy. But all right. I'm writing it in the chat. EKN2116. I will spell it with the thing, or Sam will beat me to it.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also where all your podcasts can be found. Please enjoy.
Indeed. Cool. Well, I guess the last thing, I'll let Dan have a little break. The last thing is, if you guys are readers or watchers of movies, you should join me on the last Thursday of the month, because I'll be here with Aaron, who I think is in the chat with us today. And we read books and watch the movies and TV shows that they have been turned into, and then vent about whether we liked them or not. And usually we don't like them, which I am surprised at, because I have been a firm, like, I like movies my whole life. And now I'm doing this, like, academically. And I'm like, oh no, why can nobody adapt it? What? That happens a lot. So this month we are doing Sandman, just the first season and the first book. So I know there's a lot of Sandman comics. We're just doing the first collection. And next month we are doing Interview with a Vampire. So consume whatever of Interview of a Vampire you guys want to consume. We'll be doing the new adaptation that's coming out on television, the movie from the 90s, and the original book. So last Thursday of the month, or you can just watch the rerun on here on Twitch or on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you happen to be enjoying our lovely platform. And I see from the faces in all of my screens that our group is back. Can I get a thumbs up? Is everybody good? Woo! Okay. We got everybody. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
Hello, Elle.
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
Also, so excited about the Interview with the Vampire thing. Cannot wait.
I really love both Interview with the Vampire and Sandman. Though I haven't actually watched through the show yet. I read the comics like 10 years ago. I've seen up through episode 2. I really liked it so far, but I kind of want to have like a watch friend for it, you know?
Well, so far, this is actually the first adaptation. Well, no, I guess there's a couple adaptations that I like, but this one so far I think might be my favorite that we've done in this series of adaptation lookings that we've watched.
the art direction on it had me a little bit worried in the first episode, just because, like, I don't know, it's so stylized in the comic, and everything has these, like, I don't know, it's super, super gothy and wispy, and has all these really, like, dark, dramatic colors and everything, and it looks very surreal. It is one of those concessions that you have to give up, that they're going to look like people when it gets adapted.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
So, all right, we have to conclude this very exciting adventure that we have had. So we have to decide what we need to do next. Is that what we're going to do next?
So,
And we need to be unpredictable and random, so I'm guessing we go with Edith's gut.
We go once? Okay. You know what we should do? We should go to the coffee shop that is in the town that time forgot up north.
Are we talking about Melton Falls?
Yes.
If we're going that far, though, should we pick up Thomas?
We need to pick up stuff out of the armory, too, because if the Russian mob comes looking for
But
Professor Crazy Pants, we need to clear that out of there so they don't get to it.
Okay, so we need Professor Crazy Pants and we need Thomas.
No, we don't need her.
What if the mob comes for her, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know that we can leave her. I mean, all that's keeping her calm is like, my iPod. We should take her with us.
Or, just understand that she's going to die. Like, those are the two options.
Everyone dies.
No, I know I wasn't exactly super nice to her when we met, but I kind of feel like we should make sure she survives this.
You're going to babysit her for the rest of your life?
No, but until we can drop her off in a very well taken care of therapy situation, we don't think Jayson will come murder her. I think we can help her for that.
In fairness, I don't think Jason's going to murder her. I think it's more likely, what if we drop her off? Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. On our way out of town, we drop her off at... We just check her in. We tell her that she needs to give them an autograph. She does. She commits herself. Problem solved. They can do it.
We could probably get her to give us her clothes and then drop her off in front of the hospital. She'll be wandering around and be committed pretty quickly.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Just as long as we're not just like leaving her to die, it seems like that's a good plan.
She is responsible for me graduating college, Mike. I don't think you understand how important this was. Because if we survive this, I might actually have a normal life. Probably not. The odds of that at this point are very slim.
I think if we survive this, you could have a normal life.
We're going to work towards it. So let's pick her up, take her somewhere she will be well taken care of, and pick up Thomas.
Okay, but we got to do this quickly because in fairness, this is predictable.
All right. Well, we got a little time.
all right.
Okay, first of all, actually, Rose, call Thomas.
Hello?
Hello?
Thomas, it's Edith. Is there anything weird, and do you think that Jayson is anywhere around?
No, I've just been sitting here talking with the church guy.
Can you have hey, church guy? Can you tell if there's any weird, dark, malevolent forces nearby?
He says he's not a wizard. I don't sense anything. I don't feel anything. I'm feeling a little bit better.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
Hey, church guy, can you have Thomas? Can you take Thomas and meet him at? Wait, where is the? Meet him at the. Where is Professor Lady at right now?
She's with Thomas at Haven.
Oh, they're both at the Haven.
Looking for the professor. She's upstairs, zorbing and listening to music. And laughing uncontrollably for like 5 seconds every half hour or so.
We could probably have the father or whoever there's with her commit her too.
Let's do that. Father, can you take her to a hospital? We need Thomas. We'll be there in 15 minutes. Bye.
Is there anything I can do?
Can you read this?
I think I got a better shot than you.
Well, before we do that, do we want more knowledge of it out there? Say we somehow managed to keep the book from Jayson, but he managed to grab Rory, and Rory
Or the
knows something about the
coin.
ritual.
Or the coin.
Okay, never mind. Rose, you try to read it.
Again, if he starts cutting off her toes, you might tell him something she knows.
I just feel like we should know what's in this book.
We know what's in the book, we just don't know how to use it, which we don't really want anyone using it right now, right?
No, but it would be useful if we knew how it worked so that we could throw sand in the gears when it does start working, because you know Jason's eventually going to get it and use it while we're around, and we're just going to be like, I have no idea what's happening.
That's a good point.
I mean,
It's a risk either way. We're playing with fire here, and you can use fire to hurt your enemies, but
But if we know what the ritual involves, if there are any sort of secret ingredients that he'd be looking for, we can maybe slow him down or make it difficult for him to get them, or possibly be a hindrance to him.
I mean, Rory's gonna be the one who's best at reading it. I can try, but Rory,
I
you're
have an
gonna be badass.
instinctual understanding of most spiritual tongues. It should be easier for me if it's not instant. But there's probably going to be a lot to unpack there, even if I can read it.
That's fine. All right, can we get to the Haven? This is a terrible idea. I'm just saying.
It's fair.
It's all terrible ideas.
When you get there, the father would greet you.
Can we have Thomas?
Yes, he vacillates. It's something to keep an eye on. He'll go from being mostly normal as I remember him to being very sick. Goes up and down. But he seems to be doing pretty solid now, and he does.
Okay.
He's just coughing some, but he seems pretty spry actually.
Father, we're going to have to take off for a while. The woman upstairs needs professional psychiatric care, and the armory, whatever I'm leaving behind, you make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
What woman upstairs?
There's a crazy... Wait, what woman upstairs?
When I arrived, there was just the boy. He was sleeping.
He just said she was upstairs.
I haven't seen her.
Rose will run to go see.
I'm going to go gather up medical supplies and whatever armaments we might need.
Thank you, Father.
Is she upstairs?
There is, when you run up into the bunks, you see just the iPod on the bed. And as you enter the room, you hear her laughter out of the earbuds. She recorded a track, and she is nowhere to be found.
What does the track say?
The track is just her
laughter.
laughing.
That's what Thomas heard every few.
Oh my god, she's a super genius crazy woman.
All right. Well, I feel like I have done my good Samaritan duty in trying to keep her. She is ostensibly a psychopath, although she hasn't broken any laws yet, so I suppose whatever happens next is on her own head.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it
Rose
depends
is
on
just
how
gonna-
one feels about, she's not our problem, I'm going to say.
I'm going to get snacks for the car, too.
Okay, guys.
It's all good.
Let's get going.
I'm just gonna take my iPod back and then go with Thomas.
I'm sorry.
Like I'm not
guys,
even mad. That's so
I
clever.
didn't mean to lose her.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Thomas, you're sick.
Wasn't your job to keep track of her.
It kind of was. It kind of was his job.
He
I
was
fell
sick
asleep.
as a dog.
Do we have the ability to relocate the super cage from the Haven into the van?
Well, the van's not mobile right now,
Yeah,
and the cage is
Oh,
sitting
yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
Van
We
is
don't
a
have-
U-shaped hunk of metal.
Yeah, okay, what are we driving again?
The normal car. The
I'm
normal loner.
All right. All right, great. Well, I guess we're just gonna take a normal drive to Milton Falls because it was the first place we thought of.
Yeah.
While we're on the road, I'm gonna bring this up. You know, there is one place we could go that is pretty well off the grid, at least from all conventional electronics, and the person living there has knowledge of the supernatural. He's a little crazy. He's
Most
one of the
people we know are a little crazy.
well, he was discharged for being insane after he was one of the survivors of the
Have you associated with him very much recently?
once a year we always get together.
I mean, if it's not that time, I don't know anyone would think to look for you there.
Well, we usually get together, in November to celebrate a birthday, but we could get there but he's a little paranoid.
Is he a good person?
Yeah.
Okay. And he has an island?
No, he's just he lives in Maine.
That is across the country.
Very far away.
Yeah, just throwing it out there as a possibility to consider.
Maybe we
Right.
start in Milton and then see how far we want to go.
I think we need to be ready to be gone for a little bit.
I mean, we could does the church have a helicopter we could use?
A helicopter across the nation?
Yes.
That would be
Slow.
very inefficient and slow. Yeah,
No,
like a
wouldn't-
plane.
It would break down along the way, probably.
Yes.
Helicopters are very high maintenance.
I'm not going to even go ahead and say probably. I'm going to say that is a thing that would happen.
Okay, fine. An airplane. An airplane. Something fast.
I don't think it's a bad idea for us to go by car if we ever. We'll first get to Milton, and I mean, this guy thinks that birds are actually government drones, which he also thought that COVID was a government creation to increase their power. But looking back, he's technically
he's-
somewhat right at this broadest interpretation.
He's a wacko.
Yeah, but
So he might shoot at us when we approach. That's what you're
oh, most
saying?
definitely shoot you guys. If he sees me, if it's before or normal time, he'll be paranoid. But I'm pretty sure we can.
No one
Talk
will
about
look for us there.
According to this, it's 47 hours to Maine from here. So
Yeah. That take a while.
Gonna take a
I think we go to Milton Falls first, but just throwing that out there as a possibility. But the stuff he says that sounds crazy at first turns out to be mostly right usually. I mean, after everything we've seen, if we shot 20 birds in the city and one of them turned out to be a drone, would that really surprise you?
Well, I mean, one of them might have turned out to be a Rari.
That's a good
See?
point. One of them might turn out to be a Rari. I think
we should not win
shoot 20
Raris.
birds.
I mean, okay, if it's a quiet place that is off the grid and nobody knows, the only risk that we run is that it takes us a long time to get there.
Right.
What do we have to do?
We have to give the book, well, we have to
There are some things we should explain to Tom.
Yeah. So we need to reunite you with the Shattered King so that it can kill Jayson. Basically,
I figured something like that would be coming.
also we need to give the book to the Shattered King so that he can keep it away from Jayson indefinitely.
That book.
You know, the
This
you
book.
the you person
Can you read
that
this
will be.
book?
I mean, you'd be the one to see
Yeah.
it later anyway.
He
yeah,
can
I
read
can.
Okay. Fabulous. You need to know everything about that ritual so that we
What
can
is this?
That's
It's an opening of portals to anywhere.
No, that's no kidding. Wow.
Yeah,
Wait, wait! What if we just use this to portal us to Maine?
let's not
that's a
possibly open up a rift in space time to save us a few hours on a road trip.
My face was straight up no.
and that's like lighting a big old magical
I
bonfire.
haven't even heard of some of these places. Like in books or anything. This is why apparently you can go there to. Oh boy.
They got Kokomo in there.
I'm not finding a Kokomo. I am finding realms of fire and ice and various fairy domains and stuff I can't pronounce.
All right.
This is incredible. Where did you guys find this?
Let's talk about Frank.
Yeah,
You guys found him?
yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. We took
didn't
care of the
do
last
that
one,
one.
didn't we?
We didn't do that one.
He
We
did
did that one.
Okay. Well, yeah. If your big plan, Edith, is you want me to use this, I think I can when you need me to.
We're pretty sure that he was bullshitting us about being able to hold off your disease too.
Yeah, I think that might have been a half truth.
How so?
The thing he gave me, when I take drinks of it, and he holds up and he shows the flask, I don't feel like myself, but I don't feel sick. It makes the other side of me stronger. It's like a stimulant.
When's the last time you had some of that?
Like a half hour before you guys came and picked me up. Like I said, it makes this clear most of the way up. I get some of that nasty stuff coming out of my lungs, and my nose is still a little runny, but everything is a lot less painful, and I can move. I feel like I could maybe defend myself like this.
Okay. Well,
I got about 2/3 of the flask left. He told me to drink it whenever I felt really miserable. So I just take a sip.
Tom, we're just going somewhere random as a bit of a stopgap. What I need to do is work with you and try and use you as a focus point to locate, the rest of you.
Okay. And y'all are thinking about what happens when we do locate the rest of me. I don't know that they're terribly friendly.
no,
Yeah,
we're
that's.
gonna fight them all.
I mean, more or less, I think the idea is we're gonna bloody feed them to you.
The last time I fought one of them, Rory, he kind of kicked the crap out of me.
But it's gonna be all of us fighting, not just you. That's the point in our favor. We've got a lot more weird magic now.
Hey guys, is anybody else hearing like
There's a very loud sound.
dirt in their mic?
Hold on.
Oh,
I think it is L. But it is no
I
hear
longer
it now.
happening.
It's
It
gone.
wasn't me. I muted a while ago.
it's gone.
I think it was me.
Okay. Okay,
Sorry.
then I didn't see your mute symbol. Got it.
Okay.
Because he mutes on the mic. Got it. Mike mutes on the mic.
So with that said, and with the group basically deciding to hit trails and keep moving and go to random places, that is where the session for this evening ends.
I like
Right.
the Maine idea. I think we should go to Maine.
So I do know that we were talking about other folks taking some turns to run a few sessions before I took back over and brought us to our season finale. So,
This gives us some ideas to work with.
yep, you guys have complete freedom to run the kind of adventures you want to run.
I mean, if we're considering going to Maine, we can go anywhere, right?
Yes, you guys can go anywhere. You're in the wind, and you will do what you do, and I will interject as you want me to, and as the story allows. And in late November, I will take back over, and we will get this sucker racing towards the end.
Whoop whoop. Okay, brilliant. So, so tune back in next Tuesday, and we will have a new keeper and our intense road trip to someplace safe, hopefully, but probably not. Of course not. We're all gonna almost die several times on this road trip.
I know y'all are just as sadistic as me when it comes to plotting out missions for everyone.
How dare you? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So tune in next Tuesday, and everybody have a good night. Thanks so much for watching us. We love you, and we will see you soon.
And much love to our keeper for fighting through, feeling like a dog to get this one in.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Buddy.
Good night, everyone.
We'll see you next